even if you think it's dumb as shit, the effects aren't really that great, and we all know you know, a lot of it was kind of low budget and shit.
Big Big Trouble in Little China is the best sci-fi
Oh, shut
movie
up.
Just
from the
push that
80s.
jerk away. Hello, welcome to Retro Cheese Review, where my friends and I review cheesy movies from my childhood. With me today is Mai. Say hi, everyone. To my
What's
everyone.
up?
Yeah, we haven't had Mai on in a while since I think didn't I make you review was it Transformers?
Yes,
Yeah, it was
Transformers, the
Transformers.
original cartoon movie, not the Michael Bay one.
Not the Michael Bay one. I wouldn't review that. That one's trash. This one was actually, I think this was your idea, Mai, for Flash Gordon. Getting into the tomato score, the Rotten Tomatoes, 83% critic rating, which is surprising because these B movies only a 69% audience score, which I'm convinced that once it got there, nobody reviewed it again. Like once it hit 69%.
Makes sense.
With it being a cult following, usually we get the opposite, where like people will the critics will give it a shit rating, but then the audience will love it. This one, 69 is not bad, but I'm surprised it's that low.
Yeah, well, I think people maybe just decided, hey, we know this isn't the best movie ever, but let's just keep it at 69 just for funsies.
Yeah, 69%.
That's my theory.
I think it's Zoomers that just don't get it. It's them damn
Oh,
Gen
for sure.
Zers that don't get it.
Oh,
if
for
you're
sure.
if you're a Gen Zer watching this channel, you just don't get it, okay?
You're an old man! You don't understand the young people! You're right. I'll change from now on.
Getting into nostalgia reviews, I'm gonna go ahead and say what's weird about this is first watch. Like, the nostalgia review has to be our first time watching it, not the many times, because it would have been a way higher rating than this watch once I got into my preteens and could appreciate this. This came out before I was born. First time I watched it, I was like, this isn't Star Wars. The hell is this? I got that it was campy and stuff, but I didn't quite appreciate the cheesiness of it when I was a little kid. I would have probably, honestly, the first time given it maybe a 3 out of 5. How about you, Mai?
Oh, I loved it as a kid. I wish I could remember how old I was when I watched it, but I know I was relatively young at the time, and I just loved it. You know, even though, like, you know, I knew, you know, some of the storyline was a little cheesy and whatnot, but this was little my, like, not even knowing that this was a comic or any of that stuff. I just saw it as, oh, this is a fun, like, action-packed, you know, sci-fi type movie that looks grown up that I get to watch. You know, and when I think about it, there are some parts that are probably more adult than what I should have seen.
I was surprised.
But I mean, at that time, I don't think anybody cared.
Diving into the plot, which it had a pretty good plot, I guess. So the main bad guy, Ming, he's it's Emperor Ming, yeah. He is basically just toying with the Earth, and he's gonna destroy it. But he's fucking with it first. He's like setting off earthquake. He's just got like a control pad that he can set off like earthquakes and shit. And then there's stock footage of like buildings falling down. And then cut to like randomly Flash Gordon's on a plane with a random travel agent. He's on like a private jet and is supposed to be the quarterback of the jets. And there's a travel agent he doesn't know flying on the same private jet, which is kind of confusing.
I think she was I thought she was supposed to be a low-level journalist of some sort.
Maybe she was a journalist. I don't know. I caught
And-
travel agents
or like
somewhere.
a reporter or something. And I think she's trying to nab an interview or a quick little story with him or something, and that's how she manages to hop on the plane because Flash is like, well, all right, she's a hottie, let's go.
I know that he openly mentions that like he knew who she was because he asked the concierge about her.
Oh, okay.
So he was already kind of perving on her prior to that. And she's all like freaked out because there's turbulence. Flash,
Yes.
who doesn't seem like he's that smart of a guy, he just like, he's explaining what turbulence is. And he's like, yeah, I took some piloting lessons. Because, that's going to come back later. And yeah, there's a ton of turbulence. And it's because Ming's up there, like, just pushing his light bright, fucking with the Earth. And he's throwing the moon at the Earth also, just for fun. Then there's like some crazy scientist that they cut to, who has been kicked out of NASA for his theories that the increase in, earthquakes and shit is because there's an alien invader trying to destroy us. And he's got
Because he knew the whole time.
Yeah, and he's gonna force like his assistant in a rocket ship because he needs 2 people to go up into space with him, and his assistant's like, yeah, fuck that, you're crazy, man. And he's got a gun. He like pulls a gun and is like, you're getting in the rocket. And it's convenient that Flash Gordon's plane crashes right where the guy's laboratory is.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, can we use a phone? And they're like, sure, it's in this rocket. And they get in. He forces them into space after like a crazy fight. I know I'm going through it quick, but that's really what happens. It's Star Trek level fight. Star Trek level fighting, like original Star Trek. And they end up in space they get captured by Ming, who has lizard people with best alien costumes ever, the lizard people. Literally looks like something I would buy at a Spirit Halloween store.
On sale.
On sale, yeah, because no one bought it. It's already November, and they're trying to get rid of the stock. It's in the 50-cent bin for the lizard costumes. Yeah.
Not gonna lie, they used to freak me out as a kid, though.
The lizard costumes did.
A little bit.
You can see the guys' faces. Maybe like pre-HD you couldn't. I don't remember as a kid. But you can see the guys' faces in the lizard's mouth. Like behind the little like felt,
Yeah.
But yeah, and they kill, to show that they're like serious, they kill one of the lizard people on their way to being escorted to, and the scientist is all like basically saying how it's like, Flash is like, how do you expect to take these guys down by yourself? And he's like, oh, with diplomacy, and if that doesn't work, I got a gun. Okay, like, you're supposed to be like one of the smartest scientists ever, and you think a handgun's gonna take,
You don't need courage. After all, who needs courage when you have a gun?
No, World. You put your hands up.
And then conveniently this robot shows up and just vaporizes the gun in his pocket. They meet Ming, a battle ensues because Flash ain't gonna take their shit. And conveniently, they have these metal things that were like an offering to him that look like footballs, and he's like pelting all the bad guys with them.
Yep.
Yeah. His loyal subjects, you can tell that they're not so loyal because they clearly are like being subjugated, and Hawkman's just having fun of secretly knocking down the bad guys when he's not looking, The Prince Volton.
There were a couple other people secretly, helping him out, and like they were all cheering on Flash.
Yeah, all of them were.
Like everyone was like, "Yeah, go Flash, go, get him!"
Yeah, and you got Ming's daughter, who is just eye-humping Flash the entire time.
Slut.
Yeah, she is just all up on... And it's funny, because she's in, like, a gold bikini, and when they walk in, it's... The reporter, or whatever her name is, they're not... Flash and her don't even know each other. Yeah, Gale. They barely know each other. And, like, Flash looks up and down the princess, and Gale's like, hey, I'm here, too. Like, she literally just says that, So she's already, like, all up on, Oh, wait, her name's Dale, not Gale. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's a weird
Like I
name
said,
for a woman.
Dale Arden.
That's weird. It's funny because all of them look all sci-fi except for her, and she looks more like a 1920s starlet, the hair stuff they gave her. Now, creepiest moment of the movie happens in this scene. You may have missed it. And I'm not going to get political on this channel. Comment if you want, but it gave me some Trump vibes. Ming literally, his sidekick, who's basically a ripoff of Darth Vader or Cobra Commander, I can't decide which, literally looks at Dale and goes, or no, it's Ming looks at Dale and goes, "Quite the specimen. These Worth women are very attractive." And like his sidekick goes, "She's on par with your daughter." And he's like, "I agree." Seriously? Seriously? Like, that's some
Okay,
creepy freaking vibes, right?
Yes, but I totally don't remember Ming agreeing. Like, I remember that dialogue.
I don't know, maybe he
that
did.
last little
I don't know, but like, even if he didn't, like, I caught, like, he was at least like, yeah, and it's like, I don't, like, even if not, like, the sidekick saying that, that's kind of creepy. That's some creeper vibes right there.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
to be fair,
I think. Oh, go ahead.
oh, sorry, to be fair, that princess throughout it, like, she tries to sex everything in that entire thing. At one point, I thought she was gonna try with Dale also.
Like I said, she's the slut of the movie, and basically tries to fuck her way to get whatever the hell she wants.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think like in like little bits of the movie, you know, they do talk about how so Clytus, which is the name of Ming's #2 dude.
Yes. Darth Vader, Cobra Commander.
Yes. So they do kind of mention a couple of times how like he's always trying to go after her, and she's like, "Fuck you, dude. I only go after the pretty boys."
I'm after Timothy Dalton and Flash Gordon.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
anyone else who's convenient to me.
And yeah, I think she makes out with a random guard at one point. I don't know, man. But yeah, that whole scene happens. They finally capture Flash. They put him in like a gas chamber, but then the princess just conveniently resurrects him because she's all into him. They're brainwashing the Dr. Zarkov, and then they don't brainwash Dale for some reason, but he's like Ming's like, yeah, I'm gonna wife this lady, pretty much, like, just instantly decides that's what he's gonna, or before he's gonna marry her, he basically makes her up to get, like, basically says, put her in a nice dress and put her in my bedroom.
Yeah,
Pretty clear,
like,
dude's gonna, like, yeah.
she's his concubine now.
Yeah, but the princess resurrects Flash. They hijack a ship and get out of there. She's totally like up on Flash the whole time, and he's even like, dude, this is, come on. And she's like literally like trying to have sex with him while he's piloting. He's like, calm down, I'm trying to pilot the ship. Even has the line, he's like psychically communicating with this device with Dale to say he's alive and everything, and literally at one point slips through psychic communication. This woman's really turning me on. And she's like, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, nothing, Dale.
I meant you.
I meant you. We're cool. But she, like, takes him to Timothy Dalton's place, which is the Endor forest, where, like, Timothy Dalton is, like, doing this weird ritual where he makes his own people stick their hand in to see if they get bit by I think it's, like, stung by, like, a weird scorpion thing in there.
Yeah, it's like I'm guessing it's supposed to be like a manhood rite of passage type deal.
Very barbaric.
Yes. So it's where, yeah, you're supposed to, like, you take turns sticking your hand in random holes in this giant ass tree stump thing. There's like a weird creature thing that may or may not sting you with poison that will, like, basically make you go insane first before you fucking die like a horrible death.
Yeah, so the person who stings, it's like, hey, kill me, please, I don't want to suffer. And he's just like, okay. Like,
Yep.
They paint Timothy Dalton up to be kind of a douche. Would you
A little
agree
bit.
he's not a very likable character?
Because he doesn't like Flash.
It's also the
like,
mustache.
Well, yes. Yes, his little porno stash.
And the way he treats the Hawk people. He's kind of racist against Hawk people.
Yeah.
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 I'm not a fan of his character. But yeah, he's there. She's basically like goes from making out with Flash, the princess does, to making out with him, being like, "Oh, please keep Flash safe." He finally says yes, only then as soon as she leaves, he's like, "Okay, let's execute his ass."
He's like, fuck you, Flash.
Yeah. And he's in like a swamp trap that he's drowning he's just drowning all these Hawk people and lizard people alive. Wouldn't the lizard people be able to breathe in the water? I don't know, in the swamp, but
I don't assume that they're lizards like they're Earth lizards.
it's true, yeah. Even though like everything else is like pretty well Earth technology, they even use the same marriage, wedding. They even use the same wedding song.
Yeah, they do.
No, these were you had basically humans and humans with hawk wings in this. But yeah, getting kind of and the lizard people getting back in, they escape. Flash as he's trying to escape, gets caught by Timothy Dalton. I'm gonna keep calling him Timothy Dalton, even though his name's Prince Baron, even though it's a confusing name because I didn't realize he was a prince. They kept calling him Baron. I assumed he was above the prince and he was a baron. But no, his name's Baron.
Too.
No, his name is Baron, apparently.
Yeah, it took me a while to realize that Baron's not his title.
It's his name. He's a prince.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe that's why, the sluts, all over him. It's like, well,
she's a princess.
Hey, if I'm
But
gonna look up someone-
Volton's also a prince. But yeah, Flash runs into him. His punishment is to get his hand put in and see if he gets stung. He pretends to get stung. And he tells Timothy Dalton to finish him as a way to get his sword away from him. And I don't know, they capture him. They end up in... I blanked out a bit, so I don't remember how, but they end up where the Hawk people are. All of them are. Because meanwhile, Zarkov and Dale escaped because Zarkov pretended to be brainwashed and got Dale out of there. And they're all with the Hawkmen. The Hawkmen have decided they're all prisoners. But Timothy Dalton, to get his freedom, requests a fight to the death against Flash. This is very original Star Trek. They're using whips for some reason. Not practical weapons at all. Whips, they're meant for livestock punishment. And why are there whips in space? So they're using whips and fighting each other on a moving platform with spikes. Flash ends up kicking Baron's ass, but he saves him. And they're all like, well, that's what makes us Earthlings. That's what makes us better than you. That's what the scientist says. Very much an American type, oh, that's what makes America better than you. Even though we would not spare their ass whatsoever.
Yeah, humans!
Go Earth! And they even rub it in multiple times. There's a scene that I probably skipped where Dale's caught and the princess is in there. Or no, this is after this. The princess gets locked up in the same room as Dale, and she's like, I've changed, and it's like, we're better than you, us humans, because we feel emotions or something like that. She says some really insulting shit.
Yeah.
They're very racist against these aliens.
Yeah.
But either way, Flash wins. He's like, let's rally, everyone together. And at this point, even Baron is all like, okay, I'm in, Flash. Let's have a fucking revolt. But the Hawk people are like, nah, and they just peace out, because the Darth Vader second command dude shows up, demanding the prisoners immediately, and Flash just kills him instantly, because the guy shows up to enemy territory by himself. So the Hawkmen get all scared and decide to get the fuck out of there, leaving all of them there. But then Ming's people capture Dale and Prince Baron and Zarkov, but they decide to leave Flash there and blow the place up. But he conveniently finds a rocket cycle and gets the hell out of there. And now that he's got the rocket cycle, Vultan feels bad about rejecting him and is like, okay, let's do a revolution. They do a whole revolution where he yells dive, which is the best thing ever. They fuck up one of the ships, and then they're gonna use the ship to crash into, like, the energy field. All this shit where goes on where Flash is gonna, you know, sacrifice himself, but Zoltan conveniently knows how to, like, take down all their shields and shit, because he's a scientist that worked for NASA. So he takes down their ship, and instead of Flash crashing into the shield, he crashes and fucking impales Ming with, like, seconds to go to save the Earth. And then, like, you know, there's this whole thing where he's gonna spare Ming if Ming spares the Earth. Ming doesn't, but Ming dies anyway. And then Zarkov's like, Earth is saved! And this is, like, all during a wedding. The whole time they're just repeating the one song that they paid for, which is a Queen song called Flash that they paid for. And Felicia and I decided that 50% of the movie's budget went into that one song because they had to pay, you know, Queen.
Yes.
And that's, yeah.
Queen basically did most of the soundtrack for...
Most of the soundtrack was just sections of that song, though.
I mean, there's
it's the same song over and over. It's a great song.
There's a little bit of variety.
Listen, it's a great song, and anyone who doesn't like Queen can fight me. That's not even a joke. Anyone in the comments, if you don't like Queen, I will go to your house and I will personally fight you. And I'll bring Rob with me.
And he'll do it just because.
He'll do it because I'll buy him a Coors. It's like, hey, someone in the comments said they didn't like Queen, Rob. I'll buy you a Coors if you beat them up. And he'll do it for me. But yeah, like, the movie ends with, like, for some reason, they're both Princes Vultan and Baron. Baron, who's the douchebag, Timothy Dalton, somehow is the king now. He's the emperor. And Vultan, who never liked him before, and really is the one that won the war, let's be honest. Like,
it was his peeps.
Because Baron, none of his people came in on the revolution. He just went by himself. Vultan lost a lot of people. A lot of Hawk people died. Like, they show him dropping like flies, because they're going against a spaceship, and all they've got is like maces and stuff. But for some reason,
they got shot up, they got stabbed, they got blown up.
Yeah, but for some reason, Timothy Dalton's he's the leader now. And he's like, but, you know, Vultan, you're the general now. And Vultan's just okay with this now. Suddenly, everything's okay. And, yeah, they're doing this whole ceremony, and Flash and Dale and Zarkov are there. Clearly, Flash and Dale are, like, you know, dating now. They even had a joke earlier in a fight that I forgot, that he said, if we get out of this, we'll have to see what our kids look like. And Dale makes the joke when she's getting, like, kidnapped, that she's like, hey, don't touch me, I just got engaged. When they've known each other for, like, all of, like, 6 hours at this point, probably.
At best. At
best, yeah. But, yeah, at the end, they're like, will we ever get home? Flash is like, I don't know, I kind of like this place. And Dale's like, I'm more of a New York City girl. And everyone just does this, like, laugh at the end. And then, like, it goes to the end, and then you see a hand reaching for Ming's ring, which is where all his power was, and it's like, question mark? Because we might get a sequel. My brother, who was a big fan of this, said that they're originally supposed to, even though he melted, that, like, originally the right-hand man was just, like, Clytus was supposed to survive somehow and take the ring, and that was the sequel. But Clytus melted.
Yeah, completely. Like,
I don't know. Either way, someone was supposed to steal the ring and become the bad guy in the sequel that never got made.
I always kind of assumed that, you know, maybe it was Ming, like, somehow managed to resurrect himself because he has all this power and shit.
I think that it's Zarkov. Because Zarkov, although he saved the day and was all pro, he was nuts. He was crazy.
Dude's psycho, man.
Dude was full psycho. Yeah, and somehow new alien technology and stuff, but I don't know. So yeah, Flash Gordon, 1980 movie. It was also a movie in the 1930s and a comic in the 1930s. There were like 3 movies in the 1930s. There was a comic in the 1930s. George Lucas was heavily inspired by the comic book when he when he did Star Wars, which is hilarious because they made this movie as like oh shit, Star Wars is out, we need to jump on the bandwagon. And it's funny, I did not realize they've tried in the 90s and in the 2000s to reboot this movie.
Oh, that's horrendous.
The 2007 one, I looked at it, and its Rotten Tomatoes score was like 12%. And it was a TV series.
That makes me very sad. You just can't beat the 80s one.
Yeah, 1980. It was supposed to have a sequel, and it didn't. It's funny. I think, oddly enough, this movie, very popular cult film, did not do well at the box office, from what I know, despite riding the popularity of Star Wars. The funny thing was, a lot of people accused this of ripping off Star Wars because it came after Star Wars. But when you think of the comic book came first, Lucas admitted,
Yeah.
But then this was before Return of the Jedi, and I'm watching, and there's shit that wasn't in the comic books that was in this movie that George Lucas just blatantly ripped off, but he had a bigger budget and did it better. The gold bikini was in this. I don't think that Lucas ripped it off. I think SNL, like Saturday Night Live, ripped it off. And then, because George Lucas, it's openly been said that Carrie Fisher hosted Saturday Night Live right before Return of the Jedi. And they did a Star Wars sketch, and they put her in a gold bikini. It was like supposed to be like a beach, and they probably got the idea for like the sci-fi bold. Yeah, and George Lucas was like, oh, we should put her in this because old pervy man. But the gold bikini's in that. Literally one of the like factions that's led by James Bond. Their encampment looks like the Ewok village. By that I mean the actor was literally one of the James Bonds. It was
Timothy Dalton.
Dalton, yes. Or for those fellow non-Bond, well, I know from Bond, but for those fellow nerds out there, he was also the leader of the Time Lords in the Doctor Who End of Time special. So
Wow, interesting.
and the narrator. It's funny. I had to look, and he was he had done almost nothing before this movie. James Bond came later.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you look at all the other actors. None of them have done shit. You got like one guy
Except
who went on to
for-
do like
except
Rocky
for-
Horror.
Max von Sydow, he did a little
Yeah, no,
bit.
he did. He did a
He's
few
the only
things.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, the one that played Ming. And then you got Sam Jones, who's like, his claim to fame since this is playing himself in the Ted movies.
Sam, this is the guy I was telling you about.
And being a coked up, washed up actor that just goes to conventions and makes money off of being Flash Gordon.
So, random possible fact. I have no idea if it's true or not, but supposedly, he actually got mad at like the producers and whoever because in the movie, supposedly that's not his voice. They supposedly dubbed over his voice with somebody else for whatever reason.
Because Lucas did it, that's probably why. It's
I
weird
mean-
though, because his voice isn't that bad. Like, when you see Darth, like the old clips of why Lucas redubbed Darth Vader, he just got like the tallest, most menacing guy possible that would wear the costume. And then the guy literally sounds like Rick Moranis being Dark Helmet, if you've ever heard the behind the scenes for Star Wars.
Yes.
It's...
Yes, I've heard that,
But Sam Jones'
but
voice
yeah,
isn't
the
bad.
thing- I have, like I said, I have no idea if it's true or not, but
It doesn't sound dubbed.
yeah, like he kind of got, a little pissed off about it. 'Cause
They probably
he
did it for a
obviously
couple
didn't know.
lines. I don't
Maybe.
know. That's weird. I heard there were a lot of issues with filming and they didn't do a sequel. I will say, when we're getting into the actors, the one person who was always my favorite character, and he's the one person that didn't realize he was in a B movie, is...
Wait,
Yeah.
let me guess. Oh my god, what's his name? Hawkman.
Yeah, the leader of the Hawk people, Prince
Yes.
Bolton. I had to look it up. The guy's a Shakespearean actor. Has done, produced, TV versions of, King Lear and stuff. And I'm like, major overactor. The guy is a stage actor, you can tell. Just dive! You can tell he had fun with this movie and just didn't give a shit.
That's awesome.
Everyone else in this movie knows that it's a cheesy sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
No one's bad in it. No one is bad in it. Rewatch rating. What would you say after rewatching it?
I would say this has got to be one of the best things to come out of the 80s. Specifically the sci-fi genre. I mean, even if you think it's dumb as shit, the effects aren't really that great, and we all know a lot of it was kind of low budget and shit.
Big Trouble in Little China is the best sci-fi.
Oh, shut up.
Just push that jerk away.
But I would rate this as the best cheese and corn casserole your grandma ever made.
I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. It was cheesy, but it was good cheese. There's good cheese and bad cheese. That's what I'm trying to explain to people with this channel. That's the point of this damn channel. Is there's good cheese and there's bad cheese. And a lot of these things that my friends send me, Warriors of Destiny, those are bad cheese. What was the one that I reviewed? I don't know. There's been a few that I've reviewed that are just terrible. This was good cheese. Somehow this one... The only thing that would have made this better is if somehow, even though I'm sure he was a child at this time, or a teenager, if they put Bruce Campbell in it. Somehow, if Bruce Campbell was in it, it's the only thing that would have taken it. Because, he's the king of cheese, and he's not in the cheesiest movie. But yeah, I would give it a perfect 5 out of 5. Clearly, Zoidberg agrees.
Yes, he does. That makes him happy.
Well, that is all for today. Thank you all for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment. If you liked this review, if you like Flash Gordon, leave a comment. If you hate Flash Gordon or hate this review, leave hate comments. If you hate Rob, leave a hate comment. If you enjoy the barkings of Zoidberg, leave a like and a comment. And please subscribe. And thank you all for watching. Thanks again, Mai.